Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from San Antonio, and I'm here with Timbrel Hildebrand reporting from, I think, Arlington.
I am in Arlington.
Ah, I got it right. So today we're going to be talking about the 2009 film Race to Witch Mountain.
Yes, we are.
Yep. So what do you think about this film?
I think a good way to describe this movie is it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's not Citizen Kane or anything like that, but it's a fun movie. It's a movie that I watch, and I usually have a good time when I watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those films that it's definitely one of those feel good films. So
You what?
it's definitely one of those feel good films. Like it's a lot of fun to watch. So let's talk about. Also, there's no backstory to this. I guess it kind of just happened. Uh,
Yeah, sounds alright.
yeah. So today we're going to be talking about this film. It came out in 2009, and it was made by a guy named Andy Fickman, who would go on to make other films for Disney, like The Game Plan, which was something. Uh,
Wasn't that with The Rock too?
yeah, The Rock was in that one too. He also made Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Oh, that classic.
Yeah, if anything is a Citizen Kane, it's that one.
For sure.
Yeah, but he also did like a couple of he directed some musicals in Los Angeles and in
Oh,
London.
really?
Yeah, he did Reefer Madness the musical, and he did Heathers the musical in London.
Oh, okay.
So he's not all that. He's not all that bad. So we got okay. So this film basically follows a cab driver who's also a former convict and former Las Vegas mafia associate. Um, also, if you're thinking about seeing the mafia more, don't. They're not there very much. They only come in like a couple
They're
times.
really not.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, you gotta wait for Mr. Wolf. Who's Mr. Wolf? Don't worry about it. We never see him." Um, but the main character, Jack Bruno, is played by The Rock. So this is I think one of his more earlier performances. Uh, oh wait, no, actually the game plan came out before this.
What's
But
that?
though I was gonna say this was like one of his more earlier performances, but the game plan was his first one, uh, which came out 2 years prior in 2007. So what do we think about The Rock and his performances here?
I mean, I like Dwayne Johnson as much as the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's very clear that he plays kind of just one type of character, which, I mean, is fine. A lot of actors do that. But yeah, I would say that, like, it fits what's going on here. It's funny to see him so small. I'll say that. Like, he's so tiny, but he's still, gigantic. I mean, you see The Rock nowadays, like, he's like this is like half of The Rock
Oh
in
snap!
this movie.
Is he like the Pebble?
Yeah, he's. I'd say he's less Rocky. That's for sure.
He's Rocky. Hey Adrian, I'm less Rocky.
But no, I like The Rock fine enough. I would say that like I don't think he's one of the best actors Hollywood has to offer. I think he does what he does pretty well. Movies like this where he's just kind of a generic. I mean, I hate to call him generic, but I mean like it is a pretty generic kind of leading man. He's got a rough past and he's trying to do right by himself or something like that. But I mean, he works for what's happening there. He has this kind of strong, domineering figure. I will say that his performance is a little, just kind of like one level probably throughout, except when he sometimes like decides to shout. But again, it's not that kind of. It's not a movie that's supposed to be more than that. So I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so too. And the thing about that is like, I know he started off as a wrestler in WWE,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people who do WWE wrestling end up going into acting eventually. Like, because now John Cena is getting really into it, uh, and who else? Ronda Rousey was in a couple of films, and they say it's because like wrestling is very fake, so it's basically acting already. So
Yeah.
that's where they get. Oh, Dave Bautista, he was also a wrestler. So yeah, so it's like stuff like that, and it's kind of cool to see how performances can like develop over time. So we got also the new two siblings. It's no longer Tia and Tony. It is now Seth and Sarah, played by Anna Sophia Robb and Alexander Ludwig. So, what do we think about these guys?
Oh, I thought they were really good. I think the kids really stick out with their performances. Anna Sophia Robb is a very talented actress. I've liked her in pretty much everything I've seen her in. I think she's a very big talent. The dude, I haven't seen him in many things, but I do think he does a really good job in this movie. I think they both do a good job of kind of conveying that sort of off-putting nature that the aliens have, that they have to kind of remind people that they're not human.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Especially since they have some difficult lines to deliver, specifically Anna Sophia Robb, because it's kind of up to her to do most of the exposition. So yeah, like she does a real good job. And I like him too. I really like their relationship. I think even though, like I said before, this is kind of, it's just like an action movie, so it's not got a whole lot of character development in it. But I do like to see their interactions with each other, because I really do feel for the kids. They're like, it's interesting to see them interact. I really cared about the relationship between Sarah and Seth, specifically since you see how much Seth cares about Sarah. He wants to take care of her and stuff, and I think that's really sweet. So I enjoyed watching that. Yeah, it was that was nice. I enjoyed the two of them.
Yeah, and I think Alexander Ludwig actually, I think he plays MacGyver now.
No, actually, that's a different actor. I know what you're thinking of, but that's actually a different dude.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, he was in the dude that plays MacGyver. He played Havoc in X-Men.
That's
He's
right.
A different guy.
Okay, I got those two guys confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he was in Vikings. So he's in Vikings now.
Was he in the Hunger Games?
He might
like one
be.
Of the bad guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was.
By the dogs or whatever.
Yeah, he was Kato, the guy with the spears.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so he's doing stuff, kind of. And then we also have Anna Sophia Robb. I believe the last role that she played was in The Act back in 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She played...
Oh, yeah, she was in The Act. I forgot about that.
She was the neighbor, Lacey. And she also played Carrie Bradshaw in The Carrie Diaries in 2013.
Yeah.
So she's doing stuff. So we got these two performances, and they did pretty well. So in this film, unlike in the original ones that came out in the 1970s, they already know that they're aliens, and they're like, we gotta go to the place, and they kind of talk all robotic, like stuff that you would think like a robot would talk like. There would be like, we need like with a giant thesaurus vocabulary, and so that's kind of like how they do things. But the performances really did help a lot. And so, what do we think about like the abilities that they both have?
I thought it was really interesting. I liked that they kind of did some new stuff as opposed to what they did in the first movies, where it felt like they kind of had the same powers in the first movie. And I thought it was interesting how in this one they gave them different powers, and it kind of gave each of them their own thing. I really thought visually their powers were really, at least I think visually Seth's powers were really interesting to watch him kind of like alter his molecular structure and stuff. I enjoyed seeing that. I liked the way they conveyed that. It was simple, but still interesting to look at.
Yeah. So then, like, the main antagonist of this film, I believe, is, what's his name? Henry Burke, who's played by Ciaran Hinds. He's like the government. Now the government wants them, and they're gonna go like, whoa. They're gonna do stuff to them, I guess.
Maybe they were gonna chop them up or something.
Yeah, they're gonna chop them up. Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. And also, in addition to that, we also have, like, not the Terminator. It's a siphon. They're nothing alike.
It does kind of feel like the Terminator, doesn't it?
No, because they're trained to kill. They're trained to keep on going until their target is stopped. It's nothing like the Terminator. It's the siphon. It's different.
Disney's just like, no one will notice.
Yeah, no one will notice. So, like, what do we think about the character of the Siphon? How is he? How did he play in this film?
The Siphon?
Yeah,
I mean, I'd say he's more of a plot point than a character.
yeah,
He's just he's there to kind of remind everybody that the stakes are, he's there to add an extra layer of stakes. I mean, you could argue that even his character might not even be that necessary, since you already have the government as the bad guys.
yeah.
But I mean, I still thought he worked within the context of the film. I think I think it kind of like it added two fronts. I think if anything felt unnecessary, it was the drama with the old mob boss, since that didn't really play much in. I think that's the only one that didn't really feel necessary. Like the Siphon actually felt fairly necessary because it was a connection to Seth and Sarah's world. So it was pretty interesting, even though, you could say it's pretty much a Terminator ripoff, but yeah.
Okay, I see. Because now they're being attacked in both fronts, like both from the Earth world and both from their world, which I don't remember the name of. So so there's like double stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that works because that makes it a little bit more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then,
that's nice. If anything felt unnecessary, it was the gangster stuff.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's only there to be like, whoa, he's like super cool, dude. He could beat up a bunch of gangsters. So, and then we also have the character of Alex Friedman, played by Carla Gugino, who is a discredited astrophysicist who gives a lecture at the UFO conference about quote-unquote hard science. But everyone just laughs at her because they really are into more of the fantasy of aliens and not so much like the reality of them.
Yeah. That's honestly the most unrealistic part of this movie, that you'd have anyone with actual academic credentials at this glorified Comic-Con.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. They definitely would not be there.
They wouldn't let anyone like that in. They'd be like, "Oh no, you're too reasonable. You don't fit the mold."
Yeah, you don't fit the mold, dude. You want to talk? You want to start showing pictures of stars and astronomical anomalies? Nah, way, dude. Miss me with that.
Yeah.
So, what do we think about her character? Even though she kind of came in like in the halfway mark.
She didn't come in till later, but I didn't hate her. A character like hers would probably be really easy to make annoying. I would say, like, have kind of that stereotypical, oh, I'm a woman and I'm a scientist, so you need to listen to me. That sort of thing. I hate it when they do that with the female characters and don't just make them interesting.
Yeah.
But with her, I enjoy her. I think she's fun. I think it's interesting to watch her. I think it's cool that they added someone from the scientific standpoint. I like that she gets to kind of like be the brains of the operation in a sense. Like, she helps them figure out the more logical explanation. And I liked her. I believed that she was smart. I believed that she knew what she was talking about, which is often my issue with those characters. It's like, I don't believe that she's actually, that she actually knows all the things she's talking about. But I believed it with her. I did find it, and honestly, I found it, I was able to believe that she would join them, like, right off the bat. Because at first, you would think, why is she just so anxious to join them all of a sudden? She doesn't even know them. But they depicted her as being so married to this work that she has that I did believe that, like, right off the bat, she's like, yeah, let's help. This is my life's work. I want to have a part in it.
Yeah. So did she, like, do a little bit of a pushback when they came across with her? Like, no, I don't want to do it.
I mean, she thought they were making fun of her, basically.
Yeah, because they were like, before the hero must go answer the call, he must first reject the call, and we must do that like in the middle.
That, I guess.
Yeah, but we have to do it like in the middle for this one character.
Didn't have a lot of time for her, so we had to get on it.
We got to get on it. We got to do the hero's journey really quick, like in the course of like a minute.
Only so much time in the movie.
So and then also she actually does like appear in the beginning, but it's kind of like it kind of was a little bit like somebody came into the script writer's office and be like, hey, you ever heard of this thing called a Chekhov's gun? I think you gotta introduce the character in the first act. And they're like, oh snap, I gotta do that.
I think it was a good move having her at the beginning.
Yeah,
because it planted that seed that I thought was Yeah, that was good. I was glad they did that.
Yeah, and also like Andy Fickman actually casted Gugino in the film because he was a fan of the show Threshold, which she was the star of.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
I haven't either. Apparently, it got canceled after like one season.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, she must have been good in it because she wanted her for the movie.
Yeah. Oh, and also I think he also casted Anna Sophia Robb after watching her performance in Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh yeah, Anna Sophia Robb is a very talented actress. I really enjoyed her child work, specifically in Because of Winn-Dixie. You ever seen that?
Yeah, that was her first film, right? That was her first performance.
Yeah, it was one of her first, at least.
Yeah.
I enjoyed her a lot in that.
I remember really liking that movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, but I digress. But yeah, the actors, I do think, I honestly, and it's as much as it sucks to say, I do think The Rock is the one that sticks out when it comes to like performance stuff. Like, I would say the kids are probably the strongest actors in this movie. The adults aren't quite as strong, but except the Carla, what's her name? Like Alex, she's really good. I liked her, but yeah, The Rock does look. It stands out, but like she's a better actress than he is. But it works for the kind of movie that it is.
Oh yeah. Did we like buy their romance at all?
I will say the romantic stuff felt a little forced.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. Like I think it would have made more sense if they were just kind of like colleagues. Like I could see them being interested in each other because they're both attractive young adults.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess since they didn't really take it all the way with the relationship, like it's not like they kissed or anything like that. Like it was just like kind of flirtation.
Yeah.
That it didn't bother me because it was a little more realistic. Like we're interested, but it's not like we're in love or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believed it. It was okay. It didn't bother me too much. But yeah, if they'd gone any further than that, it definitely would not have felt believable.
Oh yeah. So like also they become also I think they co-wrote a book together based on the thing that the film.
Yeah, I wonder if they created anything else together.
Oh jeez, dude. Nice.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, and then he was able to buy the car from Bullet, which was cool.
He was. Yay him.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh snap! They're calling the thing is lighting up the space pager. Possible sequel maybe."
I guess they were just keeping it open.
Yeah.
I think it worked. It was kind of like a Back to the Future ending.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of keep it open.
Oh yeah, I think like it wasn't supposed to be a sequel. I think.
Oh no, Back to the Future wasn't supposed to have a sequel, but
yeah. Yeah, and that's why it was like a different actress playing the girl. So I don't remember her name, but yeah. So we have that stuff going on. What do you think about like the special effects in this film?
I'd say I like the effects to a certain degree because a lot of it is practical.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they used a lot of CGI, which I liked, particularly like when they went into that underground garden or whatever it was that was at the creepy house.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all those plants and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool because all of that looked real.
Oh yeah.
And I enjoyed the practical effects there. The CGI that was in the movie I found distracting because most of it was real. So I enjoyed the effects because they were real.
Yeah, are you like you prefer practical effects over special effects?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I do believe that CGI can be helpful, but I think the stuff that looks best is when you use the strengths of practical and special together to kind of create one thing.
Oh yeah,
that's what helps. That's what I feel like is the best.
Oh yeah, like that's
you see that in kind of like the original Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh yeah, where he used forced perspective to make the hobbits look small.
So yeah, that's why I say I like these effects because most of them are practical. The stuff that was CGI, like when she moved around all of the objects in Jack's car, like that was a little distracting.
Mm-hmm.
The more understated special effects, like Seth's powers, where his arm would glow blue, kind of like that felt better because it was more understated. Yeah, I'd say I like the effects because most of them look real.
Yeah, and then The one that actually kind of stood out to me the most, like the special effect sequence that stood out to me the most, that kind of made me uh, bend over laughing, was when the scene where they were being surrounded in the UFO and they were holding hands and then they were shooting the bullets at them, and
Oh
then
yeah.
it was like this cartoony looking bullet that was just coming in and it just like squishes on them and has this cartoony boing ding boing boing thing
Yeah.
coming out. And I'm like, wow, come on.
It was, but also it seems we're looking at this. We're like, okay, so these soldiers are just about to shoot two kids.
Yeah.
It's like all these soldiers decided at once, you know what, we're just gonna murder these two children. I'm like, I'd like to think they wouldn't be quite that quick to shoot a couple of kids.
Oh yeah. Oh snap! They're gonna have some things to answer for if they succeeded. And
Yeah.
they were experimenting on them too, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then also yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say something. Yeah, it's hard to believe that they didn't disappear Alex and Jack after all that happened.
You would think so. I know they tried to explain it away in the post credit sequence by saying,
Yeah, they tried, but I was like, nah, you guys would be so dead. Like, really dead.
"Oh yeah." They were like, "The more people that would know, the less likely we are to disappear." I'm like, I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't,
I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, Mister The Rock. And then also, I know what you're thinking. What we're missing in the film, we're missing a comic relief. That's right, and we get that as
I felt like
in
they took turns.
huh? Oh yeah, we get that in the film in the character of Pope, played by Chris Marquette, who says,
Oh, the old guy?
yeah, he's no, not that. That's Gary Marshall.
Oh.
The henchman who was like, I wish I had a gun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and something that I just want to point out for
Yeah.
fun, Tom Everett Scott, who plays one of the government guys. He was the tall white guy with curly brown hair.
Oh wow.
Who was always with the comic relief guy. He's a great actor. Like, I feel bad that he's just in there for a couple of seconds. He's in this great movie called That Thing You Do. But that's just a little tidbit that I
Ooh.
found interesting because I love him. But
Oh yeah, humble beginnings. Yeah, so we also have that. Oh, so you brought up also what was his name, Harlan, who actually is like who is another ufologist, but he is like the person that is most likely going to who would actually get into one of these conventions, who is really into like the
the old dude in the mobile home.
yeah, that guy.
They were funny. I actually enjoyed those characters. I did feel like they were a little thrown in, and that was what I found hard to believe, that they just helped them all of a sudden. But they were still fun.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like he would actually like go on like a chase, like do like a high speed chase again from the government?
I mean, maybe he seemed like he had a couple of screws loose. So
Yeah, and I think
maybe he would.
yeah, I would actually believe that character would do that because he seems like to not be very pro government.
Yeah,
And
like he seems very like, oh, down with the man, you know, that sort of thing.
Down with the man, and then he puts on a Q shirt, and we're like, oh no. So like, yeah, and also Cheech Marin has a cameo in this film as a mechanic.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he was funny. The couple of seconds he was on screen.
Oh yeah, good job, guy. So yeah, and then we also have like a really nice Disney-esque ending where they leave in the UFO and everything's happy. And also, I think this is also the only film that we actually get to see what Witch Mountain is, because in the other film they only say it. We never actually
Oh really?
see it.
I thought they found it.
They did, but they were like, I think they went to like this spot so they can be taken to Witch Mountain.
Oh right, they were, didn't they? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, and then also in this film there's no like uncle who is like who might have get a call from Child Protective Services soon, who is
No
like
kidding. Letting his kids run. Oh, there's in this movie we have a cameo from Tina and Tony though.
oh yeah, they Tony was he was a sheriff,
Sheriff
and
Anthony.
Sheriff Anthony, and Tia was the waitress.
I like to think that that's actually them.
I would think that's a good fan theory. I would subscribe to it.
Because, I mean, she helps them escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, and then and also what was his name? Anthony actually also helped them as well by like standing up against the big government baddies.
Yeah, I love it. It's like they're in Texas. Like, the government guys pull out their guns, then everyone in the bar has guns. Like, I'm pretty sure they're in Texas, not Las
Tennessee.
Vegas.
Oh, I thought they were in oh yeah, they were like in Nevada somewhere. So
Mm.
yeah, like, and then also the only thing they're missing is like cowboy hats.
I think they had those.
Oh snap! I need to rewatch it to see that. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, so anything else you would like to add about this particular film?
Um, I just think it's a fun movie. Like, I mean, I know that it's not like some deep, groundbreaking film, but it's just one of those movies that I love to watch because it's just fun.
Oh
It's
yeah.
fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Oh, also a cool little Easter egg. The siphon was actually designed by the same people who designed the Alien and the Predator.
That doesn't surprise me. It kind of looks like a merging of those two things.
Oh yeah. The only thing I thought I was kind of hoping like as soon as like he was like the siphon's face was revealed, I thought the Rock was gonna say like you're one ugly mother effer,
No,
and then but like we
no,
can't do
not
that.
in a Disney
You
movie.
can't say that in a Disney movie.
It's rated PG.
It's rated PG, right? And then also
Yeah.
they defeated him very easily. They punched him in the face. That's
Yeah,
how
and
you beat
there
him.
were other bad guys in the movie. There was the government guy.
Oh yeah, and then he was like he had to answer a phone from Washington, and
Yeah,
that's it.
maybe he got disappeared.
Probably. So yeah, we also so those are like everything about Race to Witch Mountain. It's a really fun movie. Oh, and also we have the dog, which we also have to mention the
Oh
dog.
yeah, that did feel chintzy, I will say.
The inclusion of the what was his name, Junkyard.
Yeah, very, very Disney, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, also like another thing that was also a little bit kind of forced, where they were like, our planet is dying due to pollution and greenhouse gases
Oh yeah, that was a little heavy-handed.
and climate change. And then what was her name? Oh, Alex was just basically just looks at the camera, is like, sounds familiar.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a little heavy-handed, but it was such an offhand way. I mean, I didn't mind. It made sense, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And then also, I think there were also like the motivation of their people was basically they wanted to occupy Earth.
What's that?
They wanted like the motivation of that alien species was they wanted to occupy Earth, so they can basically like save their race. So,
Yeah, we could have easily had a Man of Steel issue on our hands.
Man of Steel. Oh yeah, and I'm like, wow, this is very high. The stakes are very high.
Yeah.
Also, what was the deal about the crowd cheering when the alien got like smashed right through the the monitors?
I mean, I guess they thought it was part of the show.
I mean, you can't possibly have thought that. You like a friggin' like light just fell down and like sparks were everywhere, and he smashed right through it.
Well, I don't know.
Well, they're
It was funny to see the Comic-Con stuff, like the Stormtroopers and stuff. That cracked me up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think they like Disney just purchased Star Wars, like in that year. So they were
Are
like,
you sure?
I don't
Wasn't
know.
that like 2009?
This came out in 2009. Yeah.
I don't feel like they had Star Wars then.
Oh,
I
they
could
did.
be wrong though.
They might have gotten it later, like in the early 2010s. But it is kind of cool that they were able to use stormtroopers.
Yeah, I mean, they might have just bought it, but I feel like it was later than that. But I
Yeah.
mean, Disney had the money to pay for a couple of Stormtrooper appearances.
Oh yeah, they're like loaded with money. I think they bought Star Wars for like a couple $1 billion.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so that's the Race to Witch Mountain. I think it was really interesting. Oh, there's Tom Everett Scott on the cast list.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Oh yeah, he was in the Boiler Room, One True Thing, Dead Man on Campus. Oh wow, that's pretty good. So yeah, so we got that was Race to Wish Mountain. It's pretty good. What rating would you give it?
I mean, in the context of what it is, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7, because I mean, it is just kind of a fun family action film, so I don't think it deserves much more than that, but it's good at what it does.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, also, this film also has a lot of memes in it.
Oh, from where he's like leaning back and looking at her. Yeah, I've always seen that.
Yeah, that's a very popular meme.
And it's really out of context from what's happening in that scene.
Oh yeah, because what was going on in that scene again?
Well, I think because the two shots you usually see on the meme is like Dwayne Johnson leaning back and looking at the kids after Anna Sophia Robb says something.
Yeah.
Which isn't what was happening. Like, those two images of her saying something and him turning back, I don't think were consecutive.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, they're two completely different things.
Yeah, and I think he was looking back just to see what was behind him, because wasn't he going in reverse or something?
Yeah, or maybe, like, I think, like, he had parked the car and he turned and he was talking to them or something.
Yeah, something like that.
But it wasn't, like, a reaction to her saying something crazy.
Yeah. Also, I guess he also quit his job as a taxi driver in the middle of it, because he...
I guess.
Yeah, because, like, he got one call from his boss, and then that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny that you brought up, like, the mafia thing. I guess it kind of makes sense because it kept him from realizing what was going on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it does kind of like, I feel like they shouldn't have brought it in later, because then suddenly, just randomly, the two guys are at Comic-Con. Not to mention, the guys playing the hitmen were not great actors. Like, he's like, yep, he just walked right by me. Big mistake. And I was like,
Big
oh,
mistake.
Wow. That one was rough.
I remember when I saw that, I didn't recognize him at first, and I was like, who's this guy, and why is he talking like that? And then I was like...
Isn't that guy someone famous?
Actually, I don't know.
Because he looks familiar. I know I've seen him somewhere, but I don't remember what he's done.
Yeah, I don't know either. He doesn't seem to be on the cast list.
Yeah, maybe he's another wrestler or something.
Yeah, probably.
But I feel like I've seen him in something else.
I
don't know.
We might need to do some research.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go into the internets and see what's up. So
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that part just stuck out to me because it was like just really bad, like, big mistake. It was. I was like, oh my word, why?
It just right past me. Big mistake.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Race to Witch Mountain. That was a really good. I enjoyed the film. I had a lot of fun with it.
Again, I think it's a fun movie. It's definitely. I think it would be It's a fun family movie. Like, it's got a little something for everyone. It's kind of that in between where the adults can kind of still have a good time, and the kids will just, go bananas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they'll be like, "Whoa, super powers, aliens."
Honestly, it's probably for older kids because they do talk a lot about like killing and stuff like that. But
yeah,
it is fun. I would say, in comparison to the original movie, I find this one a little more entertaining because the other one was. I feel like the stakes weren't quite as high in the original movie.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. This one's a lot more action-packed. The one that came out in the 1970s, like the first one, was very much more like philosophical, which was like, whoa, who are these kids? What are they doing? Why do they have these powers? I'm like, whoa. And the sequel was a lot more in the same vein as this one, because they did a lot more.
The sequel honestly feels more like this movie.
Yeah, but I think this one had a lot more. Like, the stakes were a lot higher in this one, and it was a bit more. It makes more sense in this one because it would make sense that the government would want these types of people.
Got some X-Men stuff going on here.
Oh yeah, X-Men stuff. So
yeah, they definitely felt.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of Wacky Talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.